Hi, I'm James Cass Mason, captain of the steamship Sultana. Here is the deep story of the Sultana. During the war, the Sultana was used to transport Union troops from St. Louis south to New Orleans. I had the reputation of navigating the Sultana through tricky waters at a fast rate of speed in record time during the war. On April 9, General Robert E. Lee had surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant, at Appomattox, Virginia, marking the beginning to the end of the Civil War. President Abraham Lincoln was shot April 14, at Ford's Theater by John W. Booth. On the morning of April 15, while the steamship Sultana was sitting at Cairo, Illinois, word came over the telegraph wire that President Abraham Lincoln had been assassinated while watching a play. Knowing that telegraph communication with the South had been cut off because of the war, we headed towards New Orleans hoping for fame as the first boat to spread the news of Lincoln's death. We stopped at Vicksburg, Mississippi, where I was approached by Captain Reuben Benton Hatch, the chief quartermaster in Vicksburg. Hatch had an offer for me. Almost 5,000 recently paroled Union soldiers, and the U.S. government was paying so much per man to carry them home. Hatch proposed that he could guarantee that the Sultana got at least 1,000 men, offering payment of $8 per officer and $2.75 per enlisted man. If I took roughly 1,000 ex-prisoners, I would make about $2,750. We left Vicksburg and then on to New Orleans to pick up supplies for the trip back north. On April 23, 1865, the Sultana came back into Vicksburg from downriver. She had sprung a leak in one of her 4 boilers, and it needed to be repaired. A mechanic was brought down to work on the leaky boiler. Although the mechanic wanted to cut out and replace a ruptured seam boiler, I knew such a job would take a few days and might cost me precious load of prisoners. Myself and chief engineer, Nathan Wintringer, convinced the mechanic to make temporary repairs, hammering back the bulged boiler plate and riveting a patch of lesser thickness over the seam. Instead of taking 2 or 3 days, the temporary repair took only 1. During that time in port, and while the repairs were being made, Sultana took on the paroled prisoners. While the work was being done to fix the boiler, the recently released soldiers began showing up. Instead of 1,000 soldiers as Captain Hatch had suggested, the Sultana got almost 2,000 men. They were crowded together in every nook and cranny of the steamboat. The steamship was only built to hold 376 people. The Sultana finally backed away from the Vicksburg wharf and started upriver on her final journey. She carried on board a total of 2,128 people. On the morning of April 26, 1865, Sultana stopped at Helena, Arkansas. The Sultana reached Memphis about 1 a.m. on April 27, finally started on the last leg of the journey towards Cairo, Illinois, where the men were to be transferred to trains and taken to Camp Chase, near Columbus, Ohio for mustering out. Around 2 a.m., on April 27, 1865, when the Sultana was about 7 miles north of Memphis, 3 of the 4 boilers suddenly exploded. The explosion ripped through the heart of the Sultana into the upper decks and pilot house, killing myself and many of the men on the Sultana. From this point the story will have to be told by those who survived.